And this is where manga comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. I'm heading to the radio station today, so we got a bit of a drive to get to Starbucks, and I'm running behind schedule. That's okay. I got plenty of time to get there and get set up, but I'm still running about 20 to 30 minutes behind where I'd like to run. I want to talk about a couple of things, and it's very important. This midterm election is the most important midterm election of anyone's lifetime in this country, and that is not just a statement like everybody makes with every election. It is very important. This country is at a turning point right now with President Trump. Are we going to remain a country? I mean, the United States of America, or are we going to be overrun? I mean, you look at what's going on. This Somali fraud in Minnesota that we're finding out about in other states. This is not an isolated event. Dr. Oz was on Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax, and he was talking about, because his area is Medicaid, he was talking about Medicaid fraud with Russians and others out of Miami. This country, we have been ripped off so much financially, and they've spent so much time, the Democrats, trying to wipe out American culture. And that's why, kids today, and not just today, but from the millennials up till now, and millennials are like 35. How old are the oldest millennials? They're like pushing 40, right? AOC is a millennial, and JD Vance is over 40, right? And he's a millennial. How old are the older end of millennials? They learn an alternate history of the United States. They don't understand our country. They hate our country. They have no respect for this country, its culture, the way things operate here. And we've had about 40 years. It really started with the Vietnam War generation when they were empowered. But we've had about 30 to 40 years in our educational system, from pre-K all the way through graduate school, of brainwashing going on. And these stories that come out show you how bad things really have gotten. But what I'm going to lead with today, and there's a few things I want to talk about in more detail and take your calls on the show today, but I'll give you a little sneak peek here. And it gives me a chance to warm up my voice on the drive, and I don't have to take the drive alone. By the way, this is my new iPhone, whatever the latest iPhone is. What is it, a 17? I think this is the first time I've live streamed on my new phone, which I still don't have all the way set up. I just haven't had time. So I don't know if the picture's the same as it would normally be. Is it better? I don't know. Are the cameras better on the 17? Well, let me get on the highway here. I gotta merge into traffic, and then I'll get into deep thoughts. All right, here we go. I just had to cross 4 lanes of traffic, and there is a lot of traffic out here. Most of it's semis that I want to get away from. Hold on. All right, there we are. I want to talk, but my main story today, what I'm going to lead with, not main story, but what I'm going to lead with today is the Charlie Kirk alleged assassin smiling in court like a lunatic. So I guess we're going to get a televised trial, which is a double-edged sword, right? This trial is going to be going on during the midterm election. By the way, if you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. This trial is going to be going on during our midterm election season. And this smiling and smirking in court, what it really reminded me of was Tim McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber. Tim McVeigh, when he was in jail after he was convicted and sentenced to death, it takes a long time, although he was executed faster than a lot of people, most people are. He was doing these interviews from prison all the time. And he was smiling all the time, too. And I know a lot of people, Tyler Robinson, the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin, everyone's saying he's nuts. Obviously, he's nuts, or he wouldn't have done what he did. But I remember Tim McVeigh in all these interviews, and he was smiling all the time. And what Tim McVeigh was trying to do was get sympathy. Like he was an all-American boy, and, he was a good guy and everything else. And it was disgusting watching those Tim McVeigh interviews from jail. And you can go and look them up online if you're not familiar with them or if you don't remember them. He was wearing a white prison jumpsuit in those interviews most of the time, if my recollection's correct. And he was all over the news all the time, smiling ear to ear, just yucking it up with his lawyers and doing interviews and trying to save his life. He didn't want to get executed. And Tyler Robinson, see, this is the thing with Tyler Robinson. The liberals out there, just like the healthcare CEO murderer, Democrats, liberals in this country today have a fetish for killers. I don't know why. Look at all these killers that they let out of jail. Like the governor of Illinois and then they go and kill again. They just don't care. What was the name of the guy that Dukakis let out of prison on a furlough and went and murdered people? That famous ad, Willie Horton. Dukakis, he had one